43, so yeah, time is moving along quite quickly as it does to get to my 2:30. So that's 12:33. That's 1 hour, an hour and 45 minutes. I think it is. So to get going pretty quick. But my blood has been cleaned out good, so that's all right. Okay. Let's see if they have a little boys' room down here that works. Little boys' room that could, maybe. Oh, let's see. I think this way. Ooh. Ooh, deer plops. That's good. I've had a couple nice plops today. My second plop actually looked like the local PC Transit. I literally cried my system today. I don't want to ever talk to them again. It's like a plop. Strange thing, like after all the weeks and weeks and weeks, a supervisor car drove right by me when I got to this intersection. Doesn't that just show that the energies are just intersecting in some way? Violence creates a rift, and it connects everybody involved to that violence. That's why when you go to court, all these people that are connected to the violence, right, have to show up in court and get testimony. All the families and stuff, because you've infected all these people, you've affected and infected them. We have been infected by violence. I don't think, that doesn't mean I know, just let's just say, as a hypothesis, the court system didn't satisfy this violence as much. Satisfying meant that we could answer at least some residual disquiet in how preventing, by knowing how it originated. And the trouble, I think, is that violence originates in everything that we do, as long as we do a lot of and believe a lot of the things that we've been trained to believe. These BC Transit, these violent BC Transit drivers, and that's what they are, violent people. And you have to step back and just like, most people probably just will give them a wide berth, and they've learned to get through the world violently. I had reported one guy, and he seemed to have been suspended for a while. And right away, I was like, oh shit, what happens when I see that guy again? And it took some courage, and I kept riding the bus. I think over time, like, this scrutiny which I brought to bear upon him or any number of the drivers really started to affect how other drivers behave toward me. And or this is just how they roll anyway. And what I find is that when people see me enough, again, as a middle-aged white male, there is people don't realize, people think they're acting as individuals, but lots of different types of people are prone to finding people like me exceptional, or an exception when it comes to any other reservations or inhibitions they have about behaving to us in a way that opens us up to feel bad, or insulted, or in danger, or unsafe, or uncomfortable. So when you walk around and know that people, psychopaths though they are, psychopathic though society is, and so any number of people can just behave that way, you might be prone to being a candidate to be communicated with in a manner that, though it might seem laudable to the person or any number of people watching, really just makes you feel like somebody's killed you, like you have to die, right? Huh. Even if you don't, and you think that somebody could, and you're pretty sure someone's doing that to to certain types of people on a regular basis because they think it's okay. And they choose people, even if it's not in physical contact, it's just unwanted advice. And they're choosing people when they have them alone. And all these things seem reputable to you. You might say, well, I said this to someone one day when I had them alone because it's a good opportunity to do something. Well, think about what you're doing across gender, across age, economics, across other circumstances that you might be expected to be aware of, and limit this type of behavior. I find that people who work with children limiting behavior that crosses certain boundaries because they're used to children permitting them to do what they want, even if it's not touching them per se, telling them what to do, holding them in their seats, ferrying them along in life with their practical care abilities and their happy-go-lucky personalities, all like dancing prostitutes. So this is the offending thing right here. Bum, 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 bum. I've become quite limber over my days. Limber timber. That's a good name for it. Limber timber. Limber timber. Good name for a poetry book. How condescending. Limber timber. I see. A play on words with timbre, no doubt. Ah, it's like you condescending cunt. I'm not condescending, you are, but we're the same person. Oh yeah, that's right. I think this absolutely fuckhole of a company is relocating in this building over here, which I don't know where, how, but I think they are. I'm not sure. They said they were going to move into some new building right near their places. I hope they do. Or maybe we're still going to build a. Can't go fast enough for me. Anyway, so make a good time. The sun is even breaking out a little. Not too bad. Headache usually is like someone's holding some kind of energy against me. Usually a female. So no twice. No assurance of my safety. Things are made sound, generally, even considering like great human conflicts. It's good that things are made sound. That's, I think along the way for me, I make a lot of sounds to make things sound. Nature says, good, and put things into words that make my people strong, or our people strong. I have that qualification only because as a human being I can feel the weakness or the torment. That's my qualification. If you ask what are my qualifications, to scream, to cry, and to hope for some sympathy from the natural abodes that I pass through, that I feel some affection for, having achieved by some of my labors and many of theirs and even yours, some sense of peace each day, which isn't that what every working person looks for, whether they work in one type of attitude or another. And I don't take my blood poisoning out of other people. That's why I bring myself out here. And the more you have time to yourself, almost the more you may find, because you're performing a function, right? You're around people, and sometimes you will just collect catastrophic problems from them. That, give people cancer, and you'll come and deliver them to nature. Because how else? And on the other side, people shouldn't do this, but when they're sick, they run on other people, and you might be one of those people. And I've just told a story about what I might. It doesn't mean it's real. It just is something to think about for me. I had to piss for a while, so I have to wait. So the fact my mom drove me within proximity of this company, and I'm able to walk by on my way home. I'm safe complaining to companies about bullying behavior. So, but I take you to understand that you don't think I've been wrong. I still think. Why don't you want to call your company and talk to someone who doesn't deal with that, who has listened to me describe my fear and pain? That's simple. And if you're there's one manager in Parksville sexually assaulted me in public. And no, people don't know what that is. And no, he probably not what he intended to do, but he didn't intend to be honorable to me and allow me to be safe from do, having done everything that I was obliged to do, to expect such a thing, and then some, right? And instead the opposite happened. So I think I want to just teach this to people if I can, because I think it's a teaching, not because I'm so great. It is such a rare kind of knowledge, and it takes such courage to truck with it, that I think anyone who does is probably a teacher in the real, true sense of that term. And that is sexual assault to you or to me, and it is real, in terms of comparisons, not of the details and the gory details per se of this or that sexual, but of the overall effect. And you don't have to apologize for the fact that nobody China in the course of the commission of this crime. It's not your fault that they did that on your body, which is filled with sexual cavities, including your ears, your skin, your blood, and all the things that feel great when you feel safe and healthy, and things go in a way that is sufficiently, and as you've come to long expect, and courteous towards you. And when that changes, sexual assault usually is what's happening, right? All of a sudden your feelings don't matter. Now, just that phrase, if someone's ever treated you like your feelings don't matter, now you have to be careful with bandying about the phrase sexual assault. No, because we live in a world so creepy and twisted, one might call sexual assault is something that's dangerous to talk about. Because we don't know what anyone's going to do to other people if we start being honest about how such and such a kind of human behavior really is to its victims. Who, in death to the safety of the world, should just shut up and never use the phrase sexual assault. Do you understand? And this is how groups and group mentalities and culture participate knowing in violence. And the fact that it can do that, the fact that it has that mentality, is what makes the violence not only possible, but also necessary and inevitable, as long as you have that mentality. So if you can convince someone that you've been sexually assaulted, and you can help to teach them what that means, because the effect of that behavior took away things that rape takes away from people in every sense, and that all such abuse is sexual abuse. Whether anyone means it or not, you have to look at people like animals under various conditions who behave in such a way that has certain effects. And the only thing you probably know absolutely, if that's you, is how it affects you. The other stuff might seem like pure conjecture, but it is, after all, what is happening, right? If you're talking to me and my fucking ears start bleeding, that's an effect. Right? If you talk to me and I don't shit right for 2 days, that's an effect. If you interact with me or initiate some interaction and I don't ever come back to that bus stop again, that's an effect. Right? If someone and you no longer feel safe being in my proximity, that's an effect. Right? That's called slander. Right? Okay. So, is piss possible? I'm going to commission a government study. Is pissing possible? Possibly. We have to commission a committee to see when and where. Oh, fuckers. I'm going real fucking quick because I'm just going to pop in a second. Oh. Every time I think about you, I piss myself. So, okay. Did you piss? I did piss, sir. I piss. I did, sir. Get back in line. Are you happy? Is you next? Yes, sir. Get back in line. What a nice spot to sit right there. You can see how with the spring and the summer, these places are all being purified. A bed of snow, because nature rests in it. We talk about flower beds, right? Fields. I wonder where the word field comes from. Field. Well, there's fealty. Field. Feel. Field. To field something would be to receive it. So it's kind of related to yield. Something that yields itself and something that has a yield. And the field has to take in things and it has to yield things. Yeah, and I find white people are more on the angry side, more on the the white women got the pursed lips. Not that other races can't be angry. It's not like, but I find I've been around white people my whole life. I want to put this into a little more pleasant gear, perhaps. It's just that I'm tired of it, perhaps. I love white people in parts, slices. Little bits of white people, in terms of people I've known that are kind of like religions. And I call narcissists this because there's a moment or a day when you really like them and you feel like they're your friend, but you never have that moment again. But you think it's enough to go on, like some sort of religious euphoria, Oh, Jesus spoke to me in a dream, and the rest of your life you're a Christian, right? Well, it sucks the life out of you. And so I've known people around whom women say, there was like this kind of romantic period, not romantic, but like a nice period, or a nice day, or a nice thing, and then it's gone. Or they do behavior that like erases all of that, dwarfs it in the negative impact it has on you. And then a lot of these people have philosophies where you should just ignore negative impacts, because that's part of the problem of the human soul. And until you do that, you'll never be free. And it gets quite perverse. You start grinding the gears in there. You start massaging that muscle in human beings, the denial muscle, even in very positive spiritual people. And you find that, oh God, they really think that the past just goes away because they're so positive. And, it's a difficult path for someone who lives in the past, because the past never goes away. It doesn't. You could busy your whole life. You could work on the stock exchanges. You could travel the world, you can have the most exciting life, but there'll just be a few events, I guarantee you, in your final resting place that will stick to you in your mind. There are things that will never go away, things that will never and should never go away from you. And some of them are going to be really bad things, right? And if you can get through that, some of them are going to be really good. And you'll share, along with all the good and evil and the torture of this world, a kind of pure hunger that you came into this world with, and that your parents came into this world with, the beautiful hunger to be and to exist and to enjoy what we first gave our wonderful pure heart to. That's like the purest, most wonderful parts of nature and all credible knowledge, whose very essence beats in our heart and in the wombs of our mothers and in the blood of our fathers, that all their labor should be made sound. That's love. That's not God's love. That's real love. Not real love. That's true love. That's not true love. That's not love. That's reality. That's not reality. It's all being you before the world piles on kinds of abuse to you and to children and to vulnerable people who have no means whatsoever of even comprehending, understanding what's happening to them, much less finding themselves competently enclosed to consent or not to various very persuasive and very experiences, dynamics, assumptions, demands, requests, and imperatives, socially, emotionally, financially, physically, militarily, culturally, religiously, spiritually, in every way, sexually. Okay? So that if you use that as a forward to your book on knowledge and the world, or humans, that would be a good quote. You could use that. And just say that a satanic witch of the old ways said that. Don't even use my name. A witch of the great good earth. You know, whatever you like. Who stood on the earth and said the truth and held that in their heart. There'd be no way to really take that truth and make commensurate agony or danger just go away like that. But hold it anyway, even if it endangered you to do so. And to let, like actually the most beautiful poem in the world, like Everlasting Life, like the letters of the book of Everlasting Life, and all the words of your life to be invigorated from beginning and from the end, and all the ways to the middle, and every little scintillating part of your existence, and to be invigorated with new life. Because within the confines and parameters of that opening statement, right, that's where we live, that's where we grow, that's how we grow, and that's why we grow. And it's the effect of everything that we could ever come to know about heaven and earth. Isn't that amazing? And it's epiphanic. And it's related to the sun and moon and stars in wonderful and beautiful ways. And related to time in its essence. In that we ever built a body in a mother's womb, we had all the time in the world to do so. And our bodies are made of time. And so this philosophy kind of honors your mother's body, father's body, and the body of time, in which their labors can be imagined to be of the utmost value, restored to that value, inasmuch as they have abided undue cost or suffering in the course of acquitting themselves of their responsibilities to this or that and such a world, under various, often very painful or torturous conditions, one generation over the next. I met a woman. I told her one day that I would come up with this philosophy, and within 6 months I did. Fuck you, you white bitch. She's a sexual predator down near Middlegate. She calls herself a healer. Sorry to bring anger into it, you know? But it's like, tell me any man who does anything important for the world who doesn't feel a little anger along the way. Because they're passionate about getting it right. She didn't care about what I knew or what I hoped to know and what I hoped to do for the world. She literally just talked to me like I never even said anything at any time, even though she was asking me rhetorical questions. It was amazing how you could be that psychopathic and that schizophrenic and that shut down and say all these things which alluded to the idea that you were some powerful spiritual healer who was going to give me healing for free. And I said simply that women like her have been harassing me for years, and I'd really rather not. And I never saw her again. You know, she tittered and eventually went away. I made nice with her. I didn't say it quite as bluntly as I just did, but I think she got the idea. Ever since I was young, women who look like her, and they all look the same, these blank, sort of no faces on them, have come up to me when I'm sitting in my parents' car, always, like the bus driver, always when I'm alone, and harassing me, because I think I do how to live. They all look the same to me. Same hips, same body, same eyes, same everything. They all blur into one, which I call the gorilla of man. It's not what a woman should be, it's what a woman has had to be over the years. And I pointed out to say to you that I don't think it is okay and lawful for strange women to approach strange boys and give them advice about their body language, their posture, their situation, whatever it may be. You know, that was a strange person. So, dangerous people, but asserting themselves and inserting themselves into situations, social meetings that you particularly trap very quickly. They will trap you in, and you can see that's what's happened. They were trapped, snared like a rodent, trapped here, there, and the other. Had to overdevelop intellectually, maybe. Not unlike myself in some respects. A lot of white people have excessive intellectual development early in life, but not in the way that you think, that they're learning critical thinking. But they learn to grasp upon things that are often suggested repeatedly in various types of literature, who make it clear, whether you have seen it yourself, that in order to fulfill the natural extent of being the reader or the client or the patient is to become a sociopath, because the very nature of these philosophies are not built on everlasting life. They're not built on a world where people are born beginning to end from forever in the past and forever in the future, and all that hungers for what is most sound, and nothing sound at all that will not be made sound, and only when it is made sound, or from the past or from the future, can it claim any spirit and any soundness whatsoever. And so life wouldn't exist unless it was sound in the deepest, purest past, and the deepest, purest future, and the deepest, purest distance, and the deepest, purest beauty of the world. In the heart of your love for your mother when you're born is the soundness of your entire life, is your spirit. You see? Now this is a biometric and is a language that is dead to the world, because the world uses dead languages. And so people read these books